Okay, so I hate to be the one to say I told you so, but I did. I told you so. I knew what I was talking about. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for season 1, episode 2 of Making the Cut. As I said in the first video, I really do love this show. One of the challenges, though, as a reviewer, that I run into is streaming. Programs that stream that don't come on week to week, it's rough to review them because you literally have to, for me, I really need to stop, review, watch, stop, review, watch, and it takes away from the whole purpose of the streaming service where I can watch episode after episode after episode, because if you do too many episodes, then it screws up your review and everything starts running together. But that's on my end. But that's I'm just putting that out there so that you all understand why a lot of times I won't review shows that are streaming, because for me personally, it takes away from what the enjoyable part of streaming service is. It kills the whole vibe of the streaming service that I actually have all those things available and I can just watch, because I can't do both and just watch them through like that. So that's why you all will see me kind of shy away from this circumstance. That just is what it is. It's a Jamesism. Period. That's all. Another thing before we go forward, I actually got a person who was a little bit confused about something that I've said in the past. So let me explain this for those of you who actually have been with me for a while and those of you who are actually new coming. I never said that I don't like to sew. I never said that. I absolutely love the art of garment construction. I love it. I completely love it. But I am not a tailor. I am not a seamstress. I never wanted to be either of those things. So when someone comes to me and says, "Oh, I need you to alter that," that just goes through me like somebody stabbed me with a sword. That's not that's not my thing. That's not what I enjoy. I love to sit down and sew what I want to sew, but I don't want to sew what you want me to sew. That's not my thing. Now, I've done that in the past. In the past, I have operated as a seamstress. You know what I mean? I've done that. That's not my preference. I never liked that. I did it when I had to do it. When I needed to put myself through school and I needed to do things, I did that. In this time of my life, that's not what I do. I don't choose to do that anymore. So that's what I want you to understand. Like I said, the two shows that I had actually ever considered reality television that I would do would have been Project Runway or RuPaul's Drag Race. That's it. The throwing drinks across the table and cussing each other out, that's not. I could do that right on YouTube. I don't have to get into a reality show to do that and tear up other people's stuff. So that, I just wanted to put that out there. No, I do. I absolutely love to sew, and I like to sit down. There's times when I want to just sit down and hem a garment, you know, something that I created, not pants that you bought from some store and then you want me to cut them off. That's not. There's nothing creative in that. That doesn't make my creativity flow sitting around playing with other people's garments. No. So, just wanted to clear that up. Anyway, so this show goes on the list. This is definitely something that I would consider this. You know, because again, this is just like I said, this is like an extension of Project Runway. This is like the grown-up version. This is like the next step up. So, loving the show. Loving the show. We go into this episode. This is a haute couture challenge. Okay, so here we go. Now we're talking my language. This is, you all know, I love evening wear. I love bridal. But more than anything, I do love haute couture, honey. And I noticed right away there was a miscasting. There was a casting mistake, and I don't know if that was done for reality show. Uh, the reality show lover, or whether that was actually a mistake. Martha was a mistake. Martha was cast for the wrong show, and that's just my opinion. And I'm gonna get to it. Um, but not only her, there was what I saw throughout. There was some confusion about what haute couture actually is. I don't think everybody was on their idea of what haute couture is what haute couture actually was. And baby, trust me, Naomi Campbell picked up on it right away and was having none of it. Do you understand me? And I agree with every word she said. Now, we all know Naomi. Naomi's delivery is not always the best. Unless she's throwing something at you. Her delivery is fantastic. But her delivery is a little, you know what I mean? Especially about things that she's passionate about. She was very passionate about haute couture. So am I. And again, it's Naomi Campbell. That's the world she comes from. So if there's anybody who knows it, she knows it. She knows it. Heidi was even a little lax on it. But again, Heidi, she's modeled some haute couture stuff, but not as much as like with Naomi. Heidi does some other things as well. When you think lingerie and stuff, that's when you think Heidi. That's where I think of Heidi, and a lot of print work and different things like that. But when I really think runway and haute couture and all of that, and being a muse and all of that, Naomi. So it's very serious part of her world, and she was having none of this foolishness. And I think a lot of the designers, their idea, they come from smaller places and different. There's like, child, oh yeah. I'm like, no, haute couture is expensive, delicate fabrics, and the garment is 95% made by hand. Zippers are put in by hand. The beading is done by hand. Nothing's glued. Nothing's, it's not all of that. Everything's not stitched and then flipped inside out. No. No. Sitting down, really creating the pieces, taking your time. That's what couture and haute couture is. So, I say all that to say this. Let's move on. So, here's the challenge. 2 days. Haute couture, one showstopper, one marketable version of it. Okay, so they have to marry each other. There has to definitely be a cohesion with the two pieces. The winner, definitely the marketable piece will go on to Amazon. The winner would definitely be getting an article and space in Corinne's fashion book, her CR fashion book. So it is definitely a big deal. Okay, so they actually went to the Yves Saint Laurent Museum. Child, I was getting my life watching, so I know I would have been falling out on the ground. Heidi and Tim in this episode actually went to the Moulin Rouge, and Heidi actually got to dress in one of the costumes, during like a rehearsal, and get on stage with the girls. I said, girl, if you don't get down. She looked nice. She looked beautiful. But she got up there hicking and jigging, and I said, no. It's Heidi. If you don't get on down there, huckle bucket, honey, and cut it out. But it was cute. It's very cute. Okay, so we got some information about Sander this time. So Sander actually did go to the best school in Europe, okay, for his training. So I picked up right away. I kept saying Christian. That Sander put me in mind of Christian. He got a skill. He definitely has a skill set that is worth talking about. And he basically did school, finished school and all of that. He's launching his own business. Things are small right now. And he actually works at a burger joint. So very humble. His beginning is very humble, and it just makes Sander very likable. You know, it's like I understand. I understand. I get it, and I like it. I like it. I like Sander. Martha. Martha's on the wrong show. That's all there's to it. She's just on the wrong show. They said couture. This heifer bust out talking about she gonna use some gingham. I was done. From that point forward, and I hope y'all, you may think I'm being mean or whatever. I just didn't care to hear anything else she had to say after that. I was done with Martha. You're out of sorts. You're out of your league, and that's all that really is to it. She's out of her league, and this competition is serious. They're not being able to sew is an issue. And as many times as they say, this is not a sewing competition, this is a design competition. That's true. But you got the best of thousands of people who audition for the show. You all are the picks of thousands of people. So it's the best that there is. So that means that when we get down to it, we all know that you all are good designers. But we got to nitpick now. We're going to nitpick and pick you apart. So whatever you have less than, that's how we're going to end up getting to the winner. Whose skill set is the highest? Whose creativity is the best? That's how we get there. So not being able to sew, at some point you got to know that's going to come into play. But it came into play in such a big way with her, she can't even get on. We on the second challenge, and this child was having a meltdown. She's having a meltdown because you're out of your league. You have no business. She couldn't even make it on Project Runway. Period. Goodbye, Martha. Bye, Martha. So I was like really done with her, and again. And then the whole thing about gingham, that meant that she's not well versed in fashion knowledge either. To even pick up a piece of gingham, talking about you get ready to do something couture. Really? Gingham, actual gingham. Now I'd have gone if she would have had like chiffon, layers and layers and layers of chiffon that were that happened to have like a gingham print to them that was specially made, but it's actual silk chiffon. Okay, then that's couture. That's something different. But no, girlfriend picked up a piece of actual gingham that you could have made a tablecloth with for a picnic. Talking about she making something couture. Girl, get out, Martha. Get out. Anyway, moving on. Okay, Sabato. Sabato, his inspiration for this whole thing is his mother. We found out his mother recently passed just a few weeks before filming the show. And he decided to do a wedding dress. And basically, like, I guess it would be like the bridesmaid's dress. The wedding dress and the bridesmaid's dress to marry it. And not, you know what, I'll take that back. It was more like a wedding dress and then a little scaled down version. So probably like where the bride would have taken off the wedding dress and put the other dress on instead of walking around in her reception with her wedding dress. So yeah, not the bridesmaid. It wasn't that far scaled down. It was beautiful. Cream, silk, some lace. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Very drapey, very dreamy. And he told a story of the fact that his mother, he's Italian, naturally, and his mother went against the grain. His father wasn't full-blooded, and the family was against the marriage, and she basically was kind of like, you know, kind of disowned a little bit, and she never had a wedding, like a proper marriage, you know, proper ceremony. So that was, he was saying, you know, this was the wedding gown his mother never had. So that was really, really nice. Esther went down my road, baby. She grabbed up some black sequins, and it actually had a stripe in it, and it, beautiful, 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 and just, yeah. And she has never actually worked with sequins before. I was like, oh, Esther. Oh, Esther. Because working with sequins, again, it's a skill set. So I was like, all right, let's see what happens. But she pulled it off. She pulled it off. Johnny. We found out about Johnny. Johnny is self-taught. I said, who here? Because there's always somebody self-taught that come on. I'm here for, well, y'all know that's my story. But I'm like, come on with it, Johnny. So Johnny was self-taught. Whereas myself, I was self-taught, but then I actually did end up going to school afterwards, but I was already working. I already had clientele and everything else by the time I actually went to school. Johnny, period, is self-taught, loves leather. He used to be in a circus, and he learned to sew, having to fix his own costumes. He had to, not creating them, but he was fixing, just like doing the alterations and repairs on his own costumes, and then it just branched off into him actually starting to create things. But he loves leather, and I said that's like a heck of a thing to actually go into something specialty like leather when you are self-taught. That is fantastic. I love it. So yeah, rooting for Johnny too. Martha and Tim had this little conversation. Again, that gingham came into play, and the question of her taste level came in. She doesn't have any. Came into play. Anyway, so then there was this whole thing. Like I said, she basically realized that she doesn't belong there. And Tim talked to her and told her, you basically have a self-saboteur. And you're paying too much attention to it. We know you don't know how to sew. And the thing is, work through it. And I said, okay. So I kind of chilled out and I said, come on, Martha. And what Tim said that made so much sense, he said, one runway show at a time. That's why Tim is who he is. It's like he has the job he has because he's good at it. One runway show at a time, and told her, you pin with precision. Pin with precision. And then be able to explain it to the seamstresses. You know what I mean? I'm going to tell you where the words worked to get her to get in there and do what she needed to do. Pin with precision. But that's all she did, was pinned with precision. She did that, and she never sewed anything. Even when we got to the runway show, she was still putting pins and stuff. She done pinned up some stuff, had some safety pins in it. No, you pin with precision, sweetie, to send to the seamstress to get some things sewn, but you still got to sew some stuff. We're not going to let you just safety pin stuff to get... Girl, listen, they read her down. They read her down so bad at the show. Anyway, let's go to the fashion show. The fashion show was in this palace. It was really, really gorgeous. And the way that the show was done, I liked it. They would walk the runway, and then they took a seat, like mannequins. Some were standing, some were sitting, and like mannequins. And then the people who were in the show were able to walk around and actually get up on the garments and look at the garments and stuff. I thought that was flawless. Especially for the space that they were in the palace, because it was like they were in this real huge hallway. Basically, it was really, really. I liked it. It was real groovy. And this is when the sewing thing came into play again, because the judges also could get up and walk around and look at the garments, and they did. And they got up on there and they looked, and that's when the sewing thing came in. I don't care what you all say. The sewing part is going to always fall into this. It is always going to weigh in on the decisions on this show. It just is. Because they got up on there and they start looking at finishes and different things. I said, because once you get beyond that design, now we got to break it down. And that sewing can make or break you. I don't care what anybody says. It just is what it is. So anyway, Esther's two pieces were a definite yes for me. Of course, they were both in black. She did really, really well. Megan, black and white. She did this gown and she did the dress. Fabulous. They were actually my favorites of everybody's stuff, was Megan's. Yeah, it was like this one shoulder dress that was real drapey and goddess-like, and then her gown was very Kiss of the Spider Woman, if you will. And like I said, when they got up on it, they talked about how because they had like black stripes, like strips, and it looked like a spider web on the front, and it had in the back, it had pieces missing and stuff. Looked like Kiss of the Spider Woman. But yeah, they talked about the precision of the strips and stuff wasn't all that great. The sewing part still will be taken into the conversation. Sabato, like I said, I love both dresses. They were really, really pretty. Loved them. Johnny, it was a fail. It just did not work out. Didn't work out. Taste level came in there. Again, leather, very tricky. You talk about leather. There's something you can do that we could couture with leather, because if you use like lamb skin, it's very soft and supple, and it can be lighter, and it can do some things, and it has a little of a stretch to it. So you could do some things with that, but you pushing it when you're talking about leather, and he was heavy on the leather. It was very biker chick. It wasn't couture. Again, knowledge of what couture is was the problem, I believe. Will had one good piece and one bad piece. The model couldn't walk in the dress. I'm like, this is a dumb mistake that I see. Somebody makes it every season on Project Runway. It's a stupid mistake. It is a stupid mistake. You fit the models. How are you sending a model down the runway that can't walk in a dress, where the dress needs a slit or something in it? That's a stupid mistake. That's just I just can't. I will never excuse it, because it just doesn't make sense. I know you didn't not notice that she couldn't walk. There's nothing cute about this unless you are playing the mother from the Addams family. Morticia Addams is the only person that gets a pass for not being able to walk. And that's because that's the way she's designed. She's supposed to be that way. But no. And just a little bit of history. She didn't actually walk. The Morticia Addams, she never walked anywhere when they filmed that show. She was actually on a cart. She stood on a cart and they moved her. It was on wheels. They moved her from place to place during the show. She never actually walked. It's trivia. Look at that. Anyway, moving on down off my soapbox, but bam, and I'm back. Okay. Sander. There was lots of conversation about Sander's pieces. Sanders, he did this like big voluminous piece. It was a show-stopping piece. Remind me so much of Ungaro, if you remember the designer Ungaro from back in the day. It was definitely a showstopper, but haute couture, no. It was more of a it was just, yeah, it was a showstopper. That's what it was. It was a showstopper. There was nothing delicate about it. Yeah, so lots of conversation. Again, knowledge of what is and what isn't played in there. Like I said, they completely laid Martha out, y'all. Completely. When I say laid her out. So when they go back and we do the actual judging, Martha gets laid out again by Naomi. When I say Naomi let her have it, she really did. She told her, you disrespect the whole word couture. Pins and no sewing. I was like, oh, hey. She wore her out. I was like, okay. And then she was gone. She got eliminated. She was eliminated. Esther ended up winning the challenge. And dig this. Here we go. We get ready to have, okay, y'all know I do reality shows. So I catch stuff like this. I do the wretched reality shows and I review them. The Love and Hip Hops of the world. So I catch little things like this. Honey, Miss G Wong, honey, I see you. I see you, sweetie. I've had my eye on you when you told the story in the first episode about how you had inner issues and you had people calling you Rachel instead of calling you by your name, G Wong. I had my eye on you because I said, I think you're interesting, but at the end of the day, in your core, I think you got some mess with you, sis. So I had my eye on you. And sure enough, when they called off that Esther was the winner, G Wong, honey, her face gave. I said, oh, hater on board. Her whole face was like twisted up. Baby, she had attitude. And then they always told you, you never know what's coming out of that judging panel. They jumped out and they said, G Wong, your white dress that you made, we're also going to put it on Amazon. There was actually an Amazon exec that was actually at the show that loved her dress so much that they pulled her dress. And she wasn't a winner, of the whole thing by herself. Esther was the winner, but they pulled her dress to put on Amazon. So you didn't win the challenge, but somebody liked it enough to market it. And that's what they told her. They said, you never know who's watching. You never know who's in the room with you. And that's the fashion business. That's the truth. You never know. You just never know. Talent as a whole. You just never know who's where you are and who's watching you. So Big Brother's always watching. Y'all got that. But baby, I saw your face, honey, when they announced her. I said, oh, Miss G1, you're going to make for good reality TV because you got some mess with you. Anyway, listen, this show's giving me everything I need, you all. I came down here for just creative banter. And baby, y'all giving me whole full-on reality show moments. Anyway, catch you all in the next episode.